How's it going, everybody? Welcome to this week's video. This week I'm going to be talking about something I love to do in the summertime, and that's throw a big deep crankbait. I used to lose a lot of fish throwing any kind of reaction bait until I started really getting into the right rods and stuff like that. So this week I'm going to talk about my deep cranking setup, the line, the baits I like to use, and most importantly the rod. And I really do think it's the most important thing because it's going to not only keep your fish pinned, but it's going to have that help that bait perform correctly and help you cast. The first thing I look for in a good deep crankbait rod is a long rod. I really like this is the iRod Genesis 2 crank launcher. It's a 7-foot 11-inch rod, and it's rated from 3/8 to 1.5 ounce. So, you know, if like your Norman deep little N is probably one of the smaller baits I'll throw up to the DD22, of course, and then 6XDs, and you probably even throw a 10XD on it if you wanted. I just don't throw that bait that much. What I have on right now is a DD22 and a kind of like a brim or craw pattern. Something I do with a lot of my crankbaits is just upgrade the hooks, especially the Normans. Stock hooks are alright. I switch them out with Owner ST36s, and they're red. Other than that, I don't do much else to the bait, maybe tuning it a little bit if it's not running right. As far as line goes, my favorite crankbait line is 12-pound Sunline Sniper fluorocarbon. It's a really good strong line, really good casting line, and my favorite part about it is that it's really manageable. A lot of fluorocarbons will have a decent amount of memory and stuff like that, and they'll start to coil up on you. The Sunline, I don't have hardly any problems with it at all, even after, if I keep it on my rods for an extremely long time, say a couple weeks or even a month, it's still a good line. The important thing you want to look for in a crankbait rod is something that's got kind of a soft tip. Backbone is fine because you just need a lot of tip to absorb that shock. When that fish is out there pulling on your rod, you really want it to bend pretty deep into the rod. So this is probably what I'd consider like a moderate fast type action. It doesn't say on the back, but if you guys are interested in a good deep crankbait rod, definitely look into the iRod 711 crank launcher. It's a Fred Rumbanis signature rod. The reel I use is a Corrado 200E. It's a perfect size reel. It's not too big. You know, it holds a perfect amount of line. With the 12-pound, which is a really thin line from Sunline, I actually run backing. You can possibly see it underneath there. It's just some red braid down there. And I fill about half my spool with backing, and then the top 100 to 130 yards or so of fluorocarbon. That makes it so I can save a little bit of money with my fluorocarbon and spool up a couple reels with one retail spool. And you know, a lot of times you don't ever use the deep part of your line anyways. Maybe if you break off on a long cast, you might see your knot at some point, but usually I don't even have to worry about it. When I need new line, I can feel free to just re-spool. As far as baits go, the DD22, a lot of people think that the 22 stands for how deep it's going to go. There's not a DD22 that I've ever seen that's going to go 22 feet deep. More consistently, it's really like 14 to 18 feet. 18 is going to be like your 10-pound really long cast type depth. My favorite deep crankbait is probably a tie between the Megabass Deep 6, which, as you can see, has a really long bill, a really heavy tungsten ball weight transfer system, and just the good old Strike King 6XD. You can actually see that the 6XD has a little bit smaller bill, but it goes almost as deep as the 6 deep. I can get this one to go, you know, low 20, maybe 21 feet on 10-pound, really long cast. But I can get the 6XD probably to go almost just as deep. Both really good baits. I can't really say what one gets bit better because I've had such great success with each one. But those are my three favorite deep crankbaits: the DD22, the 6XD by Strike King, and the Megabass 6 Deep. The DT16 with the Paula is really good too. You know, kind of 4th, 5th on my little roster, but I really like those top three baits. If I'm throwing a deep crank, that's probably what it is. Rod I pretty much fell in love with this spring was the Fred's crank launcher, Corrado 200E 12-pound fluorocarbon. Make sure you got a rod that's got kind of a soft tip. It'll help you manage those big fish and keep them pinned all the way to the boat. So hopefully this helps you guys out a little bit. Get out there in the summertime, try some deep crankbait fishing, maybe get offshore, find some rock piles and stuff like that, and I'm sure you guys will catch them. That's where the fish should be this time of year. So stay tuned for next week. We'll be coming right back at you with some more information. So thanks for viewing, and good luck on the water.